Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. It's beautiful here and cool this morning, but we have today and tomorrow. This weekend is supposed to be in the 90s, go down to 80 on Monday, and then back into the 70s and for the foreseeable future. And so we're excited about that. uh Blade said I'd do it, and I did. I jumped the gun and rolled my coolaroo shades up thinking, okay, fall is finally here. And summer says, no, not quite. And so I had to put my shades back down. So this next week I'm thinking that I'll get to pull them all back up and go on with our fall and enjoying it. And we really need rain here. I know other areas don't want to see any rain at all, but we are on the drought monitor. Where we're at is just now edging into drought. Other areas around us are already in a pretty good drought, and we need the rains. Our pastures need the rain going into fall. We could have good hay, good grasses, for quite a little while if we would just get some good rains. And we're hoping and praying for that. We want to take this time to say that we're still thinking and praying for those in North Carolina and Tennessee, Florida, all the places that were affected by these storms and the flooding. The people in Wyoming that are fighting off the wildfires and all the things that are going on in this country, plus all of the crazy stuff that you're hearing coming out of politics and all of the other things that are so messed up. And we as American people, it's easy to say we're in trouble, and we are in trouble. But I will also say that through these storms and all of the tragedy and catastrophe that's happened, we've seen some good things. We've seen some neighbors reaching out to one another. And last week we talked about being a good neighbor, and I have definitely seen examples of that this week. We saw the ladies standing in line waiting to take on laundry for the linemen that are out there helping. And I got to thinking about that particular thing, and how humbling it would be. We don't mind to wash our family's laundries, and a little bit of our extended family laundry sometimes if the need arises. But most people would say they wouldn't be comfortable washing a stranger's laundry. But these ladies, they stepped up to the plate and offered to wash the laundry of people that were there doing something for other people too, those linemen. And that's a very humbling thing for them to do, and we appreciate it. I know those linemen and their families appreciated knowing that somebody was showing them a little bit of appreciation and love. We've seen other acts of kindness, those going in with their mule teams, and those going in with their dogs and recovery efforts. We've seen other YouTube creators that are from that area. It seems like several of the ones that I like to watch are in that area, that particular area. So we know that it's a beautiful area of the country, and we've seen them walking to check on each other, making sure that each other's okay, and coming together, cleaning up and doing things that we know is going to take a long time, that can really be a stress on those individuals that are involved. Another thing that I saw this week that was very moving was the rescuers getting to this house that was back up in the hills in the mountains. And this little lady on her front porch, an elderly lady, and she was just so happy and so thankful to see some people come. And I don't know if they took her out, if she stayed at her home and they just brought her supplies, or if she actually evacuated her place. But she was so happy to have someone there and make that physical contact. She hugged them real big. And so I've definitely seen a lot of compassion and empathy and neighbors being neighbors to one another. And I'm so proud of this country for that, because we all know that there's so much division, there's so much ugliness, there's so much stuff going on. and trash talking, and political season is so nasty that it's good to see people being good neighbors to one another in the midst of all of this chaos and all of this strife. And my hope and my prayer is they continue to recover and life goes on. And we all that have suffered personal tragedies can tell you that life most definitely goes on. And you can already see that, the news cycles move quickly, and they move these top stories down just a little bit. And that's the way life is. People move on, but don't forget and continue to be a neighbor and continue to practice humility. Humility is what I kind of wanted to talk to you about this morning. We all need to have humility in our life, not to be humiliated. We've all probably experienced that at one time or another. Some of us have experienced it several times, but I'm talking about humility as a character. Now, humility is having a modest opinion of yourself, not thinking that you're better than anyone else, not putting yourself on a pedestal and thinking that those other people are beneath you. It doesn't matter what rank of life you were born into. We are all valued as individuals. Now, one thing that I have heard over and over and over in this political process is this one was born to privilege and this one wasn't born to privilege, and so they can govern better because of that. Well, I don't really agree with that, because I think each individual person, regardless of how they start out in life, have opportunity to be, when they reach adulthood, they have opportunity to be different than what they were because of privilege or non-privilege. People can use, they were born into wealth as they're not a good person, or they can use, they were born into poverty as they're not a good person, and this has caused them to do crimes or this or that. And that's stereotypical of all these individuals. And I have seen firsthand humility from very wealthy people, and I've seen humility from very poor people that do understand what it means to be in that predicament. Society today puts a label on people, and almost like you're valued at this and they're valued at that and they're valued at that. They do it with your social standing, with the cars that you drive, with the job that you have. And I will tell you that Howie went to technical school, and he had a very good education in that, and made a very good living for our family while he was here. Blade has followed suit in the trade, and he's getting started and working hard in that. But you wouldn't believe how many people have pushed this off on Blade as a young kid before he got out of high school, and would ask him, well, what college are you going to, and what are you going to do, because surely you're not going to do this. And we put that label on people that if you're blue collar, if you work in a factory, if you pick up the garbage, if you fix an AC unit, if you do this or that, and you don't have a college degree, then they put themselves over you. Now, I will tell you that I know that there are certain fields that need a college degree. If you're going to do some kind of surgery on me, I want to know that you went to college and you've got a degree to back that up. And you should be proud that you went to school, but not prideful and put yourself above other people, because it takes us all. Now, throughout all of these tragedies that have happened, these catastrophes that have taken place, I've seen people cooking meals and carrying in supplies, and in their areas gathering supplies. Our church is gathering monies, and we're going to be donating it to Samaritan's Purse, so that they have an ability to stretch the funds further than what we ever could here way over here in Gore, Oklahoma. And so our church is doing that. Other churches are doing that, gathering supplies. Some are actually taking supplies that they're buying here and taking them in to those areas, at least as close as they can, so that the supplies will be delivered to them. And different people are taking their food trucks, and churches are taking things, and there's people that are offering showers and places that people can take and wash their own laundry if they want to. And all of that is fantastic. All of that's wonderful. And then it makes me proud in a good way of the people that are out. Though linemen are working, search and rescue are working, recovery is working, the road departments, all these people are working and doing their jobs to try and help each other. And I think it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. Now, true humility is staying teachable, regardless of how much you already know. And there's going to be a lot of things that come out of these storms that people have learned, that people will learn, that those of you that have been impacted, I know, no doubt that you're saying, well, we had all of these things. In fact, I've heard some of you on your videos say, we had all of these things, but this particular thing is something that we need to work on. And I would agree that this is a time to learn from those things. Perhaps we can't learn about the weather and that kind of stuff as far as changing some of the things, but we can learn about the things that we can have in place as families and individuals and communities that might help us. And next time something happens, were you short in your water supply? Did you have enough medication? What about blankets and warm clothing? And did you have something to light your household in the evening time, because there's no power? And we have a child here at our house. Our oldest grandson is terrified of the dark. And even in the daytime, if you ask him to get something that's like the next room over, no, it's dark. It's dark. It's dark. He's really scared, and we're kind of challenged about how to help him overcome this darkness, other than praying for him. And so, if anybody has any suggestions, put them down in the comments if you don't mind, how you helped your children or grandchildren overcome the dark. Now, my parents would have said, there's nothing in the dark to be afraid of. Or one of their favorite things, of course, I was older when they said it, they'd say that if there was something in the dark that gets you, they'd bring you back in the daylight. Real comforting, but they thought it was funny. But anyway, back to what we were saying. Think about the things that you could learn, and don't be embarrassed by something that may seem like a failure to you. Well, we failed at this, or we failed at that. We failed to have this supply. Well, I tell you that's what true humility will still learn until the day we die. If we'll be humble about what we know, and receive teaching, receive new knowledge. I know there are people, and I'm sure you know people too, that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they know it all. You cannot tell them another thing. You cannot give them another tip or another example or an easier way to do things, because they know. And that is an example of not being humble, not having humility. When you say, nope, I don't need any help. I don't need any help. And that's when you'll catch yourself short when an emergency comes, if you've not allowed yourself to be helped at all. Not allowed yourself to learn something new, learn a new skill. Shine and I have tried to think about the things that we've seen that they talk about people needing, and it's caused us to think about what we need to do to ensure ourselves, if something was to happen, do we have everything in place? There are some things that I feel confident about. There's some things that I'm thinking, I didn't give that much thought, and I need to correct that. Lighting is one of them in the evening, like I said, with Howie being scared of the dark. And of course they're little children, and I have kerosene lamps, I have candles, but I don't want those in their hands. And so I have some solar lights for the yard, but they're, they've been in the yard, so they're dirty. But I need to pick up some more solar lights, lightweight ones. I have one that's back. It has glass, but I'd like to get some lightweight plastic ones or some other materials so that should the power go out, like this winter, if we should have a snowstorm or ice storm or something and the power go out, that we would have light for those boys that they could carry from room to room. And we've talked about this before. There's other things, water catchment really, in my opinion, needs to be bumped up here at my place. And something else that I thought about was the food. We're really good about canning and having things on the shelves, all of us that do this kind of thing. But we need to encourage each other, too, to have some short-term items, some items that doesn't take any, stressful thinking about putting a meal together. If you have to heat it up on a grill outside, then you don't need anything complex. And, sure, if you're used to cooking out and you have the means and the tools and you're going to be there a while, but in an emergency situation when someone's hungry and cold and wet or whatever the case may be, just something warm that can get in their belly quick is going to comfort and help them. And so I want to be myself, not be a discourager of keeping some canned goods. I'm talking about store-bought canned goods on the shelf, Pop-Tops for a lot of people, other things that you could reach. Our farm needs to work on cooking outdoors. Me specifically, Blade cooks outdoors. He's got a Blackstone griddle, and he's got some other kind of big smoker thing that I know nothing about. And I need to get more comfortable about cooking outside. Now, I've grilled hot dogs and hamburgers and that kind of stuff, chicken breast, but I need to get better at all of that, to put that griddle into play. He's pretty picky, but maybe he'll give me some lessons on all of that. I like those because they're up high and I don't have to worry about my dress tail catching on fire. But I know, too, that I need to do some cooking on some open flame. And I have an idea in my head of how I would like to have an outdoor kitchen area designed. Blade and Cheyenne, when they build their own house here on the farm, that he has a dream outdoor kitchen that he wants to do, but I'd like to have an outdoor area that had a built-up spot that could have your charcoal or your wood or whatever down inside, and your cast iron could go down inside and cook, where there wouldn't be any way where me or the boys or anybody really could get hurt or get burned that way. And we'll see what happens with all that. But I've been thinking about all those things, and those are skills that are teachable. Those are skills that are learnable if you're humble, and you will learn those and say, I don't know. I'm still teachable. That's part of having humility, is being teachable, even when you think that you know it all. Even no matter how much you know, there's still more to learn. So it's going to take some regrouping, and a lot of you are already experiencing that regrouping, trying to put your places back together. Maybe some of you are going to have to move, maybe even to other states or other areas. I know some of the devastation is so great. There is a lot of learning opportunities for us in the future. And we have to take that opportunity, learn. The internet is full of information. Just make sure that you're gleaning the right information. There's so many things out there that are good things, but there are also things that are, in my opinion, hogwash. So you have to be careful. Visit your local library, and you can check out books for free, purchase books to have on your farm, and make yourself read those books in the evening time. Turn the TV off and spend 30 minutes or an hour reading something. Teach yourself a new skill. Learn to sew. Learn to cook outside like I'm going to have to do. Learn to do those things that's going to make you stronger, more able to stand on your own 2 feet. Community is important. Sometimes we like to isolate, but community is important. And If we have the attitude that I'm not any better than what you are, I'm not trying to outdo you, then we'll be better off in a position of stress, in a position of chaos. Then we don't have to overcome boy, I've not treated them right, or I've been standoffish with them. If we can do those things, then when things are good, when the sun is shining, if we can be good neighbors, we can be humble, we can treat each other with respect and kindness, then in the times of great stress, then how much better it'll be if we already get along. Don't let yourselves be divided, and don't let yourself be puffed up and think that you're more than other individuals. You may have a bigger bank account, you may drive a better car, you may live in a nicer house, but the person down the road, they're worth getting to know. They're worth something. And same goes the other direction. If you're standing in judgment of a person because they're successful and they have a good job, they might have been even born with money, that doesn't mean that you can treat them bad because of that. I've seen a lot of people not be accepting or liking other individuals because they have wealth, because they've been successful. So we can't hate successful people. We can't loathe those that seem to be beneath us. What we really need is humility. So guys, I'm going to wrap this up for now. I've got more apples. I've made applesauce and apple butter, and I've got more apples waiting on me to make apple pie filling and apple juice and some other things. And so I got to get back to work. But I want to spend a little bit of time with you this morning and remind you to be humble, be a good neighbor. And until next time, guys, I love you. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household. And until next time, we're gone.